Authoritarian capitalism and meritocracy rise to the decline of laissez-faire capitalism and democracy. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and he will commend you. For he is God's servant to do you good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword for nothing. He is God's servant, an agent of wrath to bring punishment to the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also because of conscience. So said Paul in Romans 13. Therefore, if you are one who does what is right, you fear not an authoritarian, but we look for benevolent authoritarianism as a Dr. Adenauer. Modern authoritarians in Russia and China seem to be seeking the welfare of their citizens, who readily admit to improvements in their lot and standard of living. It is easy to obey benevolent dictators like Dr. Adenauer, install a social justice and safety nets for the poor while developing the economy through meritocracy. It is not difficult to work for dictators in general. I have done so, provided you do not grandstand like some fools from Russia who want to shout democracy and freedom. They don't know the meaning of democracy. They have not experienced democracy, and they do not know the meaning of freedom. Freedom they talk of is the freedom of the wild donkey who has given an extra rope in another country. That's hallucination. You need intelligence, integrity, and diplomacy, like Pope John Paul II did with Russia. He brought down the Berlin Wall and far-reaching reforms. His appeal to Gorbachev was to release the great human potential of the Russians for the greater good of Russia and the world. Dr. Konrad Adenauer, authoritarian capitalism is his slogan. His economical miracle was social equity, centrally planned capitalism, and meritocracy. He attracted large foreign direct investment from the West. A benevolent dictator developed Germany as a leading economy from the ashes of Hitler. Lee Kuan Yew, who was in London studying at the time, observed Dr. Adenauer's miracle and replicated it in Singapore to attract FDI from East and West, including Russia and China. Authoritarian regimes usually rise where other systems fail to deliver social safety nets for the poor and social justice. Dissidents cry for democracy, though they cannot point to democratic systems that have delivered social justice or a safety net for the poor. Authoritarian systems with bloated bureaucracies to satisfy ruling party supporters increase corruption, nepotism, and mismanagement, and need to reform to survive economically. A Sri Lankan resident in Singapore opposed Lee and wanted Sri Lankan-style democracy. Sri Lanka marched from independence to be a basket case. Yet this guy kept stirring trouble about democracy for Singapore, so he was jailed. The West made some whimpers on human rights, but applauded Lee on attracting the highest FDI, around 75%, by any country in history for Singapore's stellar development, while Sri Lanka proudly marched on from independence to be a basket case, as I said. Lee helped China to build its political economy, but its already established bloated bureaucracy was in the way. So she instituted zero tolerance for corruption and was able to attract FDI for its super economic power. Russia followed suit, but its bloated bureaucracy may not have zero tolerance on corruption, so its political economy lags behind China till reforms take effect. Authoritarian capitalism and meritocracy rises against declining laissez-faire capitalism and democracy. Hypocritic slogans of sovereignty, freedom, and democracy ring hollow with their ineffectiveness in today's world. As the world chooses liberalism, benevolent authoritarianism as seen in post-war Germany, then copied in Singapore, grafted in China and now Russia for a bipolar economic system.